Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event by Women Thrive. My name is Ramada Jan, and I will be your co host for today's show. And we have an incredible lineup. But first, my lovely co host, Abigail Rebecca, is here to support us. How are you?
Oh, I'm really good. I'm cold, but I'm good. And I am very, very excited about who we have got lined up today. I can see them in the green room. We've got some amazing speakers that are going to be on the showcase today.
Yes, we do. And we already had a wonderful event this morning. So we already hosted, I think, six or seven or eight
Yeah.
speakers this morning. So this was a really powerful event. And today, if you're joining us, maybe you're joining us for the first time, let us know in the comments below. What can you expect? So at Women Thrive, we have been hosting Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event for quite some time now, every month. And we host our speakers that have been confirmed for the Women Thrive Summit. And Women Thrive Summit is our annual women empowerment event that happens uh, third week of March. And it's an event that you don't want to miss. Our speakers are joining us from all around the world, from different backgrounds, different voices, stories, experiences, and there's so much wisdom and inspiration for all of you. It doesn't matter where you're joining from, doesn't matter whether you have a business, maybe you're transitioning a career and you're looking for some inspiration and growth. This is a great place to build your community, meet some like minded women, and of course, get that support because I think, when we work in collaboration, when we ask questions, put ourselves forward, we can accelerate so much faster. And I know that from experience as well. We got some fun that we're going to be having today. So, what I want you to do is leave a comment below. Let us know where you're watching from, especially if you're watching this on replay. And also just engage with our speakers. You're going to meet some amazing women. They will tell you how to find them on social media channels. Make sure you follow them, as well as share this live right now to your audience so we can reach more people globally. Abigail, what can we expect?
Well, we can definitely expect inspiration and we can definitely expect to introduce you to some amazing women. You were talking about the showcase that we did this morning, and there's something really powerful when a woman gets to come onto a stage like this and share her story from her heart. And I know that so many, well, all of our speakers really, but the women that we've got lined up today have got some really incredible stories, some of them happy stories, some of them sad stories, but I think be prepared to really dive into those stories and be prepared to not only be inspired, but also look for your own transformation. There's a reason that you've come on to this session today to watch this showcase. What is it? What are you looking for? Are you looking for connection? Are you looking for ideas for your next step? Are you looking for inspiration? Whatever it is that you are looking for, set that intention, write it in the chat, connect with us, ask questions, share your aha moments, and set that intention. And I would like to say that you will be looking for you will find your answer today for sure.
Yeah. And you always find yourself just in the exact room where you need to be. I always know this because sometimes our audience come to our summit just for one talk and they end up staying for the entire summit. But there's always that one talk that something was said, something was shared, or a story was shared that started to transform their lives. And maybe that was a pivotal moment when they decided to make a different decision, different turn in their career, and something changed. And even through an event like this, we're going to be here for 2 hours hearing from different women. You never know what you may need to hear from these women today. And maybe you're going through a pivotal moment in your career, in your life, in your business. And we're always growing. We're always growing through some things. So if maybe you're finding yourself in a moment of uncertainty today, I think this event is going to truly inspire and sow some seeds into you. And I think that's really important to mention. So be open-minded as we dive into today's speakers.
I love that. I think it also gives a really great feeling as well as to what to expect for the summit. I was speaking to Dr. Meg Gibson the other day, recorded her podcast interview, and she's not speaking today, but she was an attendee on our summit last year, as you know, right? Or this year, as you know. And she said she felt such an outpouring of love. Being on the session, being online, she felt it. She felt the energy. So you'll be able to feel the energy today. These are very special women that we are bringing onto the stage today.
Yeah, definitely. Meg was there throughout the summit, and it was just so nice to see that. And I could tell she was transforming, and she's like, no, next summit I'll be there speaking, and she's here. I'm very excited. I think maybe Meg's article is in this latest issue, maybe the previous one. Anyway, I want to mention that we have something to celebrate, and we're going to talk a little bit more in the breakout session later on in this showcase. But I want to celebrate the Women Thrive magazine. So in my hands, I am holding volume 49, which means the next volume that is going to be released is going to be volume 50 of the Women Thrive magazine. This is quite a milestone that we have arrived to 50 issues, and the next issue drops this coming Friday in a week's time. And it's going to be a big celebration. So we're releasing a new website. We are doing some promotional opportunities for women to get featured. We're introducing nominations, which means you will be able to nominate yourself or other women for various initiatives and get featured, get celebrated. But more than that, to have arrived at 50 issues, I mentioned this morning, it's not something you set out that you think, well, we'll achieve 50 issues, 100 issues. You just stay consistent. And in today's morning session or morning call that we had, we talked about not being perfect, but just being steady, right? Not having to be the fighter, but staying consistent in what you're doing, right? Being there. And that's what we've done through Women Thrive Summit and through the magazine. We stayed consistent, showing up every day, creating monthly issues. And before you know it, you arrive at a certain place. And that's the same with success. You just have to put in the work and keep showing up every day, every month, keep doing the work. And before you know it, it starts to grow. The community starts to grow. The audience starts to grow. The impact starts to grow. And suddenly people start to take notice of what you're doing. So don't get discouraged if you're not getting likes, if people are not supporting you, if you're not getting clients, because at some point the tide will turn, and that's when your blessings will start to come in. And I can definitely say that I built this magazine with no hope of monetizing it or, getting some rewards from it. I thought this is going to be a long-term version. If it happens, it happens. And here we are today. People actually reaching out today in my DM saying, can we buy advertising in your magazine? And it's just phenomenal that we reached this stage.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Abigail. Thank you for being part of the journey.
It's wonderful. I'm just flicking through the magazine. I see some of our speakers that are on the stage today in this issue. And yeah, it's just wonderful. It's wonderful to be able to share their stories in this way. Yeah. So are we ready for our first speaker?
Well, let's go. I'm very excited to see who we got on today and the conversations that we're going to be having today. So let's introduce our first speakers.
Fantastic. So I would really love to welcome onto the stage our first speaker, of today, a very, very inspirational lady with a wonderful story. Her name is 𝐲𝐬𝐜𝐬. She is a midlife reinvention and confidence coach and the founder of Mind Breeze by M. Say yes to life again. She helps women in midlife rebuild confidence, realign with what matters, and design a next chapter they're excited to say yes to. Through her 5C method, courage, confidence, clarity, commitment, celebration, she pairs straight talking coaching with practical habits and micro promises that last. So welcome to the stage, Marielle.
Thank you, Abigail.
It's wonderful to see you. So tell us we're a global community, so tell us where you are zooming in from today.
I'm zooming in from Lisbon, Portugal.
Oh, beautiful. Well, it's a beautiful part of the world. We're excited that you are our first speaker. So take it away and I'll be back afterwards to ask some questions.
Thank you so much. One morning, a few years ago, I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman that looked back. My smile was the same. My life looked picture perfect from the outside. I was a mom, a wife, a homemaker, an iron woman, the president of my kids' swim team, and yes, the dependable one. But menopause rocked my boat, and the nest emptying forced me to face the elephant in the room. How do I move forward when not just my body and mind, but my whole identity is changing? Life cracked the tower I had built. I had dedicated my whole life to my kids and my family after my daughter passed. I left my coaching business and my career. I became a homeschooling mom on a boat instead. I moved countries more than once. And at all times, my number one mission was to make sure everyone was not just okay, but more than okay. And suddenly in that moment of reflection, everything that once defined me melted in my hands. I wish I could tell you I handled it gracefully, but I didn't. I overanalyzed it. I over-Googled it. I overscheduled my feelings with to-do lists. But that one morning in front of the mirror, I couldn't ignore the burning question anymore. Who am I when there's no one left to perform for? And in that moment, I made a decision to figure it out, no matter what it would take. I decided that life is too short, that I still have a whole life in front of me, that I'm capable of so much more, and that I will not settle for less. It meant I started to say yes again. Yes to life, yes to me, and yes to asking myself the hard questions along the way. We are told to reinvent ourselves in midlife, but no one tells you how messy, lonely, and confusing that process can be. And no one tells you how rewarding it becomes when you take the reinvention process seriously. So don't get me wrong, it isn't a clean, Instagram-friendly transformation. It's an unraveling. That moment you stop pretending you're fine and start listening to the voice that's been buried underneath years of busyness. And it's not just the hormones. It's not just the empty nest. It's the whole package, body, mind, and soul. Your past, your present, your future. In midlife, authenticity isn't always readily available. It isn't simply about showing up real. It's about realizing that the version of you who once fit perfectly into your world doesn't fit anymore. And it's about figuring out which version of you does. This process can get loud, messy, and painful at times. It can make you feel lost, stuck, drifting, too late, or behind. But instead of panicking and calling it a crisis, I challenge you to treat it as an invitation to figure out who you are in this moment and what really matters now. So whatever you call the process, a pivot, a shift, an awakening, a reset, a comeback, in the end, what it really is change. And most change is uncomfortable. You might feel frustrated, terrified, resentful, numb, angry, or just tired and done with yet another change. But whatever you're feeling, remember, this is an invitation. And whatever you're feeling, remember, it's okay. Because friction is where reinvention starts and where growth happens. Midlife reinvention isn't about starting over. It's about starting true. It's about being brutally honest with yourself, connecting to your inner compass, your inner voice, your divine knowing, and asking the question that matters. Who am I? What truly matters to me now? What do I need to release? And what do I want to create next? It's about revisiting your values, the ones that fit today, not 20 years ago. Resetting your boundaries, the ones that fit who you have become, not who you were. Redefining your purpose and daring to let your new truth lead the way forward. We spend so much time of our lives building towers, careers, families, entire identities, until one day midlife arrives with a wrecking ball. But maybe what's crumbling isn't your life. It's just your illusion of control. And here's the thing. Transformation isn't tidy. Growth never shows up wrapped in clarity. It shows up disguised as chaos. And when you finally let that wisdom in, that's where the magic begins. When you strip away the roles and expectations, what's left is truth. From truth comes alignment. From alignment comes embodiment. And from embodiment comes peace. That's authenticity. Not a buzzword, not a brand, but a way back to your true self. In my work with women around the world, I've learned that this return to authenticity follows a rhythm, what I call the 5C path. It takes courage to face what's no longer true, confidence to show up consistently, steadily, even when it's messy, clarity to hear your own voice again, commitment to stay loyal to that voice, even when it's uncomfortable, and finally, celebration, because we women must learn to acknowledge our achievements, even the tiny ones, to rewire our nervous systems and feel proud of our progress, our growth, and our becoming. Every baby step is a victory. So if midlife has left you questioning who you are, what if that's not the ending of something, but the beginning of a beautiful new chapter? Authenticity isn't the destination, it's the doorway. It's an invitation to an initiation into the woman you were always meant to become. And when you accept that invitation, you don't just find yourself, you find your midlife magic. Say yes to life again, in your own way. Find the woman you've become, because the most powerful woman you will ever meet is the one you already are inside. And she's there, waiting for you. And all you have to do is say yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Marielle. Inspirational as always. What a wonderful way to start our showcase today. And I love the way that you repurpose this messy, scary, confronting change energy and see it, as you call it, an invitation, an opportunity. What's in it for me? Let's create something amazing from this. So thank you so much for being so inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And thank you for saying yes to speaking on the Women Thrive stage.
It's a pleasure, Abigail.
Marielle, I just wanted to find out, where can we find you? So where do you, if someone was watching you now and want to follow you and go onto your website, where do we find you?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn under my name, Marielle 𝐤𝐤𝐻𝐤𝐿, and my website is mindbreeze.ae.
Okay, fantastic. Wonderful. And just one quick question before you go. I would love to ask you, like, what are you saying yes to today or this week? Like, how are you saying yes to yourself?
This week, I say yes to the new energy that I got after having the flu for a week. A lot of people are sick these days. Even this morning, some of the speakers had a sore throat. But yeah, I just recovered and I'm full of energy again. So that's my yes this week.
Wonderful. You needed that rest. Thanks, Marielle. Thank you so much for speaking today.
Thank you, Abigail.
So that was Marielle Speechins. Please make sure that you go and follow her, show us some love. And I'd love to know in the chat, actually, what are you saying yes to? Let's get some conversation going in the chat here. What are you saying yes to today, this week? How are you saying yes to yourself? The most wonderful opportunities often show up when we can say yes to them. So I would love to invite our next speaker onto the stage today. Her name is Brenda Huckel. She is an award-winning author and women's empowerment and authorship advisor with 30 years of experience in HR and transformational coaching. She helps women break through self-doubt and write with authority and purpose. And her book, Courageously Authentic, blends emotional healing and personal transformation and has been featured globally. Through the Courageously Authentic Writer's Toolkit, she equips women with the tools they need to write the book they were born to share. Brenda, welcome to the stage. Oh, there we go. Oh, where did you go?
There I am.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. So nice being back here with you again.
Yeah, we missed you. It's lovely to see you on the stage again. And yeah, please take it away. I'm really looking forward to your talk. The stage is yours.
Thank you. So every year, thousands of women begin to write a book that has the potential to change someone's life. And what I hear so much from my clients, they tell me that somewhere in the writing process, there's these whispers of doubt that begin to take over. Whispers like, who am I to write this book? What if I fail? What if I'm criticized? What if the message that I am so passionate about, that I want to share with the world, actually damages my social status? So what happens? They stop writing because the fear grips them so strongly, and the doubt becomes this quiet thief of their dream. This is why we never get to hear their message or hear their story that could change the world. It's not that they lack talent or their idea is weak. It's because imposter syndrome masquerades as logic, and it quietly pulls them away from something that's so important for them that they want to accomplish. How many of our listeners today have experienced this? To have fear grip you so tight that you walk away from the one thing that is the most important thing to you. There are 3 bestsellers who felt the same way as many of us authors do. They felt the doubt, the fear, the imposter syndrome, but they wrote anyway. Maya Angelou, in an interview with The Times, she confessed that even after publishing 11 books, every time she sits down to write, she thinks, uh-oh, they're going to find me out now. If someone as extraordinary as Maya Angelou felt that fear of being found out, it's no surprise that there's so many authors out there that feel the same way. Even with her global claim, she felt the fear, but she wrote anyway. Even one of her best-selling books, The Heart of a Woman, was selected by Oprah Winfrey's book club. How amazing is that? Elizabeth Gilbert, she wrote the book Eat, Pray, Love. It was her memoir. Over 12 million copies were sold and translated to over 30 languages. But she says, and I quote, for over 25 years now, my fear has been shouting, stop, to me every time I sit down to write. Even with her massive success, she still feels that tug of self-doubt when those blank pages stare back at her. But she wrote anyway. Toni Morrison, who won the Pulitzer Prize in 1987 in the Paris Review interview, she says that when you start writing, you're scared to death. And she's right. But she also admitted that every time she writes a new book, it's like beginning all over again. And she's never sure that she can pull it off again. But she wrote anyway. These are extraordinary women. They're celebrated, they're highly respected, they're awarded, but they too struggled with fear and doubt and imposter syndrome. But imposter syndrome doesn't mean you're not ready. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It means that you're standing on the edge of transformation, that you're standing on something so amazing that the world's waiting for. Hi, my name is Brenda 𝐞𝐬, and I was one of those authors too. I understand how the fear and the imposter syndrome can convince you that you're not ready or you're not enough or the world won't care about your book. My book, Courageously Authentic, launched in May, and it went global. It was featured in the Associated Press twice, USA Today, Worldwide Women's Association. The New Literary Society magazine did a 70-page spread, and over 200 media outlets, including Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, featured my book. It aired in New York Times Square. I was inducted into Marquis Who's Who. I won my first award, and several awards are pending. Why do I share this with you? I share it for one reason. I almost didn't finish my book either because of fear, but I had no idea what was waiting for me on the other side, and neither do you. Who's to say you can't be the next Brené Brown, the next Elizabeth Gilbert, or Maya Angelou? So my message to you is write your book anyway. Your words can maybe be the turning point someone else's life is waiting for. So don't wait for confidence. Choose courage. Choose authenticity over perfection. Choose the truth that your story is tugging at your heart to write. So I want to personally invite you to the Women's Thrive Summit, March 16th to the 20th of next year, where I'm going to be presenting a session on how to navigate the emotional and technical barriers so many authors experience. It's called the Courageously Authentic Writer's Toolkit. It's going to be available on my website November 24th. We're just making a couple of tweaks. But this toolkit was created with you in mind. And it takes you through the whole author process, from the emotional piece that you're going to go through to the technical piece. Because when you're a new author, you don't know what you don't know. I wish I would have had this when I started out. So to all the authors out there, I wish you so much luck. I would love to hear from you. And I encourage you, write your book anyway. The world's waiting. Thank you.
So much, Brenda. I love this direction that you're taking. You're such a wonderful author. You have so much experience, and the fact that you are now helping others to be able to achieve that. Congratulations on everything you created. And yeah, imposter syndrome, it's so real. I mean, you were speaking about some amazing women there, and I was doing some posts last week about Michelle Obama. You know, she was talking about imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. Someone that's sat at the biggest tables, the most influential tables in the world, and you know, still this feeling, I don't belong here, I'm not good enough. And you know, like, it can really take us out the game, can't it?
Yeah, it does. It's a fear of being found out, and it's just an illusion. It's an illusion. That's why I want to encourage so many inspiring authors or people who are written a book or writing a book. Just face your fear. Write it anyway.
Yeah. Such a great message. Thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you for having me.
Remind us again, please, where to find you online.
My website, brendahugo.com, and I'm on all social media.
Wonderful. Okay, good luck. I know that you're a very busy lady.
I am.
Enjoy every minute of it.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was Brenda 𝐞𝐬. Please make sure you go and follow her, especially if you're an inspiring author. And really, you know, is that how you're feeling? I don't feel that I'm ready. I don't think that I'm prepared enough. I don't think that I'm good enough. You know, how long is it going to be like that? Are you going to feel like that? Or is today the day that you are going to say yes and you're going to dive straight into it? And I really hope that you do, because I'm sure that you have a message to share with the world as well. So we are moving. We've got back-to-back speakers today. We are moving on to our next amazing speaker. Her name is Dawn Gates. She is a retired US Army veteran, certified DEIA practitioner and pivot to passion coach, who empowers women to embrace change and step boldly into new seasons of life. As a diversity consultant and strategist, strategist, Dawn partners with organizations to build cultures of belonging, while her true passion lies in equipping women, especially those 40 and beyond, to rediscover themselves at pivotal crossroads. Dawn, welcome to the stage today. It's great to see you.
It's so great to see you too, Abigail. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
I am so excited to listen to your talk, because your talk moved me quite deeply actually last time. So I am looking forward to it. It's over to you.
Thanks so much. Good afternoon. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, as I said before, in a room full of women who are not just dreaming, but doing. Women who are hungry for more meaning, more influence, more impact. And today I want to talk to you about something that sounds similar, but will change the way that maybe you leave out of this space. It's the concept of passion versus purpose. Hi, I'm Dawn Gates, and I work with women to navigate their transitional moments in life using my platform, Pivot to Passion. So when you think about passion versus purpose, passion is beautiful. Passion is that fire in your belly, that thing that lights you up and makes you say, as Captain America would say, I could do this all day. Passion is about energy. Passion is about joy. Passion is really truly about you. But purpose, a little bit trickier. Purpose is about the impact. Purpose is your why. Purpose is what takes that fire and points it in a direction. Purpose says, this is not just about me. This is about the lives that I touch, the change I create, and the legacy that I get to leave. Let me put it like this. Passion is the flame and purpose is the compass. Without the passion, you would burn out. But without the purpose, you would drift. When you bring the two together, passion and purpose, you become unstoppable. I'll tell you from my own experience and my journey, I'm very passionate about singing and have been since I can remember. I've always loved it. And I kind of do it without thought, in the shower, in the car, on any stage that I could find. I could spend hours doing it. But it wasn't until I connected that passion to a bigger purpose, using my song and my singing to connect with others, to help them feel a deeper moment, that everything changed. Before, I sang without thought, but then I realized my voice, the words I sang, drew out emotions of pride and strength, especially when I was serving in the military. I would sing the national anthem in front of crowds of soldiers, and it was moving. I could see it moving them nearly to tears. And that's when I realized that my singing was a gift that's beyond me. And when shared, it's so transformational. My passion for singing gave me energy. Finding that purpose of connection gave me endurance. So how do you move from passion to purpose? In 3 easy-ish steps. First thing you'll do, you're going to name your passion. What is it that excites you? What gets you up in the morning? What makes you come alive? That is your flame. Number 2, connect it to impact. Who benefits when you show up in your strengthening passion? That is your compass. And number 3, align your choices. Every yes and every no should answer this question. Does this fuel my passion and serve my purpose? When those align, you don't just feel empowered, you become empowering. Everyone hear me clearly. Passion is what will get you started, but purpose is what will keep you going. Passion is about me. Purpose is about we. And when your purpose, or when your passion meets your purpose, you don't just light up a room, you light the way for everyone else to rise with you. That is power. That is impact. That is you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawn, for sharing your passion with us. I want to ask you, on the stage in March, do we expect some music to hear your voice?
I can never resist an opportunity to share my voice. And if it's even just a little bar, that I would be it would be lovely to do so. Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize you were so passionate about singing. That's beautiful. And I can imagine that is something that really brings you joy and lights you up. I could tell even by the way you were speaking about it. So what can we expect then from your talk in March? I'd like to know a little bit more about what you're going to be speaking about.
Sure. My talk in March is going to be centering around getting to that point of pivoting to your passion. So, I kind of broadly spoke about how passion and purpose connect. But before you can get to the purpose, you need to understand and take that time to really dig in to figure out what is your passion. So my talk will generally talk about, how do you get to that point? What do you need to do to reflect, take a pause, and move into that positioning of power?
Beautiful. Really, really looking forward to that, Dawn. And please remind us again where we can find you online.
Certainly. I'm at the Dawn B. Gates on Instagram, and I also have a website, dawnbgates.com.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you so much for sharing your voice today. Thank you. Thank you. So that was Dawn Gates. Please go follow her. Go follow all of our speakers. Show them love. Let's see your love in the comments. What was it that really stood out to you today? What is your passion? What can you do? I mean, Dawn was talking there about something that you can just do like again and again and again, and it just lights you up and it doesn't feel like work. What does that mean to you? What do you do that means that to you, right? What can you do all of the time that really, really lights you up? We'd love to hear about that in the comments. So we are going to be moving along now to our next speaker. I'm very excited to introduce this wonderful, wonderful woman to you. Her name is Dr. 𝐔𝐬𝐞𝐬, and she is a visionary speaker, estate and legacy mentor, and the creator of Her Legacy Framework. With over 45 years experience in education and leadership, 𝐷𝐸 empowers women who are 55 plus to shape their spiritual, emotional, relational, and financial legacies. 𝐷𝐸, welcome. I'm sorry. Financial, that's a new word.
Well, thank you, Abby. That was a mouthful.
𝐷𝐸, I've got another 4 years to wait until I can work with you.
Oh, no, you don't. You can start now.
Oh, it's so wonderful to have you here, and welcome to the stage. Take it away, and I'll be back afterwards for a chat.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is exciting to follow the three ladies that we just had, because my passion just falls right in where they are. So let me ask you, ladies, when was the last time that you had the passion to climb after something that you so deeply wanted that just terrified you, scared you to death? Kind of like some of us speaking on this stage today. We had to have the passion to do that. So answer me that question. When did you find that you had the passion to do that? Because that moment, ladies, right there tells the real truth about you. It's about your legacy that you're building. So with that, I'm going to tell a personal story. These ladies have heard so many personal stories about me. They probably know me better than I know myself. So this one was about when I was a young, curly-haired, red-headed country girl down in Arkansas growing up. on a beef cattle ranch. And of course, I was being raised by my grandparents. So it was a hot day in Arkansas. We have several of those. And in Papa's and Granny's yard was this mulberry tree. And if you don't know what a mulberry tree is, Google it and look it up. Now, I had no business climbing that tree, but I did anyway, because I was eating the berries. And, down on the lower limbs, the berries are small and not quite as juicy. And you just keep looking up, or I did, and I just kept going higher and higher and higher, because at the top of that tree, they get more sun, and that's where the really big, juicy berries were. And so, me being that little stubborn country girl, I wanted the big ones. So I went to the top of the tree. Now, when I looked down, I realized that I was in deep doo-doo, because I'm scared of heights. My heart started pounding so hard, I'm surprised it didn't shake all the berries off the bush. But I was barefooted, and I wrapped my little toes around those smooth branches and locked my arms around that big center part of that tree. I wasn't about to fall, but I was in trouble, because I didn't know how I was going to get down. Now, I want you to imagine this. I had my fill of the mulberries. I had purple all around my mouth. My hands, both hands were purple. I had purple everywhere. Even my little tiny feet had purple on them. But that didn't stop the tears from coming. That didn't stop the fear from coming. I was terrified. I was sticky, I was stained, and I was stuck. So the only thing I knew to do was to call out. Actually, I was crying when I called out to Papa, "Please come get me, Papa." Well, of course, he came and got me. He was probably watching me all along, knowing full well that I was scared of heights. So here he came. Now, my Papa didn't climb that tree. He stood on the ground and he talked to me. He talked to me like I was a grown lady. He told me where to put my little purple feet. He told me where to move my hand on the next limb. He literally talked me down out of that tree. So I've worked with a lot of ladies, just like the 3 speakers before us, that have hit that midlife point, and they're scared. They don't know what to do. Maybe they're an empty nester. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they've outgrown the chapter that they're currently living in. Any number of things could happen. But I'm like, Papa, I'm going to be there to walk you down that tree. That's who I am. These ladies say to me, after I tell them my mulberry bush tree, wasn't a bush, it was a tree, a big tree story. He says, I don't know how to climb down. I don't know how to start over. Well, I'm here to tell you, ladies, you can do it, because you're looking at your golden years, your golden chapter. All of us ladies are here to help you. So my name is 𝐲𝐬𝐞𝐬, and Abby very politely gave you some of my credentials, not all of them, but that's okay. But I've spent a lifetime helping women through that midlife crisis, because I had to go through it myself, as you can tell. I no longer have that red hair. It's turned gray. I love helping women lead and heal and rebuild and rise into that next golden chapter. We have spiritual clarity, emotional peace, yes, financial strength. But I want to tell you that legacy isn't theory to me. It's not about a will or a trust or a piece of paper or the jewelry or the money that you leave for your family. It's about what you're living now and the stories that you're going to be able to tell. Who knows? You might be up on top of a mulberry tree too. It's those unfinished stories I've been with so many women who are leaders, who are spiritual leaders, and I've had years myself sitting with all these different beautiful stories, but yet they're unfinished. They don't know. They don't have Brenda yet. They don't know how to finish those stories. So this is what makes me different when we talk about legacy. Legacy isn't about what you leave behind when you're gone. Legacy is about who you will become while you're here on this earth, while you're telling your stories. So I'm here to invite you to climb again bravely, intentionally, and with support. With my support, with these other ladies' support, we're all here to help you write that golden chapter. If you're thinking about this and it just feels too high and too heavy and too holy to navigate, I invite you to reach out for a free legacy consult call with little old red-headed, gray-headed me. And I want to talk about your story. I want to hear your desires. I want to hear about your unfinished business, because I want to honor you as the woman you are, have been, but more importantly, the woman you're going to become. And then I also want to tell you that we're going into one of the most amazing holiday seasons, which happens to be some of my favorite times, especially with family. So as you gather with your family, I want to be there to share with you, and I want you to learn how to leave your legacy. I have a free webinar on how to write your golden chapter, and it's just a whole lot more than a will. So please join me. Thank you.
Thank you, 𝐸. Thank you so much. We always love your stories, and I will always remember that story of you now climbing the mulberry tree, getting the juiciest fruits at the top, and then your papa talking you down. Wonderful and so amazing, the work that you do. Please remind us again where we can find you. Where can we find you on your website, on social media?
I have the website posted here in StreamYard. It's herlifelegacy.com. There's a whole bunch of information there. Free information, courses, just all kinds of things. And then you can follow me on all the social media platforms. And I go just by my name, 𝐸_Nichols.
Thank you, 𝐸. Thank you so much for bringing your wonderful stories onto the stage. You've got lots of love in the comments, so I think you'll have lots of fun going back and looking at it. Thank you so much, 𝐸. So that was Dr. 𝐸 Nichols, and you can go and check her out right now on her socials, on her website, connecting with her. A very inspirational lady and a very much loved member of our wonderful speaking community. So we have one final speaker before we finish and close out the first part of our showcase. We have got a busy showcase today. Lots of amazing women to share with you, and our next speaker is no exception. Her name is Dana S. Diaz. She is a best-selling and award-winning author of a memoir trilogy based on her personal experiences with abuse and domestic violence and the healing journey she was led on as a result. She's been featured on nearly 300 podcasts worldwide and is now the host of Women Thrive TV Shifting Gears. So exciting. Known as the Power Shifter when she takes the stage, Dana is a truth teller. She really is. And transformational guide. She really is. Who helps women reclaim their voices and their choices so that they can love life again. Welcome to the stage, Dana.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited that we have some amazing women who have shared some incredible stories. I'm just so glad to be part of this whole community. It's amazing.
Well, we know that you always set the stage on fire when you come on and speak. So over to you.
Very good. It is November. It's when we Americans celebrate Thanksgiving, when we're called to be thankful for all the blessings in our lives and to have gratitude for whatever we have and wherever we are. And for some, that's very easy because some have family to celebrate with and friends who are chosen family or people who choose them back. But what about the rest of us? What about those of us who have been shamed, ridiculed, exiled for speaking our truth, for shedding light on toxic family systems and refusing to conform? Is it possible, do you think, to find gratitude within the pain and rejection of abandonment? I do. Despite the emotional neglect, verbal and physical abuse inflicted on me by my estranged mother and her husband, despite the psychological warfare and domestic violence I endured in my relationship with my ex-husband, and despite the rejection and abandonment of dozens of family members for dissociating from my abusers, including my brother, who is about to become a first-time father to a son I will likely never meet. Yes, I am eternally grateful for all of it. And let me tell you why. Having an absent mother forced me to be self-reliant. As a child, I had to get myself up and ready for school. And after school, I had to make sure I did my homework and feed myself dinner, even if it was just a bowl of cereal. If I needed soothing from a nightmare or a breakup with a boy, I had to work out my own emotions, just the same as I had to figure out motherhood on my own after I had my son. Of course, I would have preferred to have a doting and caring mother, but then I wouldn't be as resourceful and capable and responsible as I am as a result. And those qualities have allowed me to excel in my personal and professional life and also be the mother to my son that my mother couldn't be to me. Having an abusive stepfather and first husband taught me to trust people's actions over their words, Even at the tender age of 5, I understood what it meant when a man who claimed to love me used his hands to intimidate and threaten me. So now I interpret relationships through the perspective of deafness, taking actions as an accurate assessment of how people truly feel about me, regardless of what they say. Which leads me to my ex-husband. Spending 25 years with a man who manipulated me with calculated affections and punishments taught me everything I needed to know about love. You see, my ex couldn't love me because he didn't love himself. So I had to learn to love myself enough to realize that my worth is not tied to other people's capacity or desire to love me, and that I had no obligation to remain where I couldn't thrive. But choosing myself first for the first time ever taught me that the people you expect to support and encourage you are sometimes the people who don't. Multiple sides of my family exiled me for exposing the truth about the multiple abuses I endured. I was called disloyal. I was shamed, all of which proved that family has nothing to do with marital or biological relation. But you know what else I learned? When I wasn't a wife anymore, or a daughter, or a niece, or a cousin, when I was just me, I realized that some people just don't have the capacity to choose humanity over ego, to choose love. But I did, and I wasn't going to abandon myself because of them. So yeah, I'm grateful for the wisdom I've gained from my painful past, because I truly understand now that the love and acceptance we seek from others is really within ourselves to find and embrace. And who I have become as a result of all of that pain is a woman I am truly proud of. So what do you think? Can you be grateful for the pain in your past? Can you find strength and truth in what you've endured? I hope so, because life is going to continue to happen. But self-love and appreciation for what life leads you into will alchemize those adverse experiences into opportunities to grow and learn. And the person you become as a result of what was meant to destroy you is a person with more grit and fortitude than most are ever brave enough to even try to embody. My name is Dana S. Diaz, also known as the Power Shifter, because I put women back in the driver's seat of their lives and show them how to shift their mindset from autopilot to alignment. And as we enter the holiday season, I want you to let your love for yourself drive you, because love is always the answer. And in the end, love always wins. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you for sharing your voice so powerfully, as always. I have got no concept about what it must be like for someone to feel so victimized and controlled, and just to have this awful experience. You are so inspirational, I know, to many women. And we always talk about this. Obviously, I know that over in the States you've got Thanksgiving coming up, and then Christmas, and these holiday periods, like everyone's like thinking about spending time with family, and it's all happy, but sometimes spending time with family can be someone's worst nightmare. So it's really important to highlight these things, and also to know, anyone that's watching and listening to this, know that there is support out there. And Dana, you're just so wonderful at what you do, and your bravery and courage in standing up to this. Really commend you for it.
Well, thank you. I know that we all have our story. We all have our pain that we carry, but this time of year is hard. No matter how much healing you do, it is always difficult. We open social media and to see your own family taking pictures and posting them, and you're not there, after being thrown away after 40 some years. It's still, it's like poking a bruise, it still hurts a little, but, we can choose happiness anyway. We don't have to be defined by what the past held, or defined by the people who have made the choice to not be in our lives. So, sometimes it is better. You can love people from a distance. You can care about them without them being in your life, and vice versa. But, we make our own happy. So, you can choose to suffer, or you can Netflix and chill all day and be happy that you don't have to drive around in the snow and the cold and the rain and, cook for 20 people. It'll be a nice day off, a nice day of rest. So happy is what you make it. And I just wanted to reach out to those people who, like me, may not have all that family to look forward to, but maybe that's a blessing in itself.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. I feel so grateful at Christmas time not to have to deal with family drama. Who do we choose to go? Whose house do we go to?
Right.
How many presents do we need to buy? It's nice and simple.
I agree. That's why I'm going to Punta Cana this year, because my 50th birthday is 2 days after Christmas. So my husband and I are taking the kids, and we're just going to the tropics and enjoying ourselves. So
we'll enjoy it for a minute, and it's wonderful. I know that you were on our showcase earlier, not speaking but attending, and we saw your love and your appreciation. So thank you for getting up so early and supporting, and thank you for coming and speaking today. So again, Dana, where can people find you on socials and website, etc.?
Absolutely. I hang out mostly on Instagram. I also enjoy a little TikTok, Facebook. All my socials are on my website, danasdiaz.com. Everything you ever wanted to know about me is there. And yes, you mentioned the show Shifting Gears, which is on Women Thrive. It'll be airing again next Wednesday. So come check me out.
Yeah, very exciting that you're doing that, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dana. So that was the invincible, my words, the invincible Dana S. Diaz, bringing the fire to the stage and showing up and leading the way. And, whatever your situation is as a woman, it's really important that you take a stand, you take control of your life, you can choose your own happiness, and you decide the rules, you decide how you are going to live your life, who you're going to hang out with, and that will stand you in good stead. So we have had some very inspirational speakers so far today, and we will continue to have some more amazing speakers, but we've got a little bit of a break now, actually. So I'm going to invite on the wonderful Ramonda Jan, founder of Women Thrive, CEO of Women Thrive. Ramonda, what are your thoughts so far about the showcase?
You know, I'm enjoying this, and I'm enjoying the women really reflecting back to some of the challenges that they have had to overcome and face in their lives. Because a lot of times when we see successful women, we see them as someone who has arrived, right? They in their glory, in their prime season. But what we don't often see is the background story, the challenges that they had to face, the overcoming of maybe self-doubt and various things in their lives, to some extent losing people along the way, losing ourselves along the way, and finding ourselves back, right? Finding ourselves and also finding our purpose in all of that. Because I believe that no pain is in vain if you're going to use it to help others and inspire somebody else. So whatever the story that you have been given, I believe you are here because now you can use it to inspire others. And today really shows that, women didn't give up. They chose to rise despite all of these challenges and really arrive at a place where now they can speak about it, maybe have healed the wounds, and now they can really speak from the wisdom and inspire other women who might be going through some of the challenging or dark times in their lives too.
I really agree with what you said. I mean, the talks, they're always so inspirational, but today, especially so, I mean, Marielle opened up talking about saying yes, saying yes to life, not thinking, right, okay, I'm at a chapter of my life that it's over, I can say yes to life again. And then Brenda was talking about overcoming, imposter syndrome and procrastination. Dawn was talking about finding your passion. 𝐷𝐲 always talks about leaving a legacy. And we were saying yesterday on the speaker call, well, I was saying yesterday on the speaker call, actually, whenever I think about legacy, whenever I hear the word legacy, I always think about 𝐷𝐲 and the wonderful stories that she weaves, and also the message that she leaves to women. And then of course Dana, talking about being resilient and standing up for yourself and for others, and creating those boundaries so you can move forward with purpose.
Yeah, there's a lesson, in all of our stories. And if you're able to not see yourself as a victim, but see yourself as a warrior and draw the lessons from your story, even myself, I stayed in that maybe victimhood or maybe even denial of what happened to me when I lost my voice, lost my identity, until I found its purpose, until I found a lesson, until I looked for the lesson within what happened to me. And I realized that had to happen in order to teach me the lesson and to arrive at a certain destination. So never feel sorry for yourself. Whatever you may be going through or have gone through, look for the lesson, look for the inspiration, and maybe there is a guiding light within that experience that now gives you purpose. Because I never asked myself why I do what I do. I just kind of followed my heart and intuition and what I felt was needed and the right thing to do, not realizing actually it was because of my experience. Only when my mentor asked me, Ray, why do you want to speak? I said, I want to speak because I know what it's like to lose your voice. And that's when everything kind of made sense. Like, oh my God, of course. That's why I'm putting on these events. That's why I want to spotlight women's voices, because I know what it's like not to have it. I've been there. And so I think if you're following something in your life, your passion, and you're wondering where it's coming from, ask yourself why you're doing it. What has been your life experience that brought you here? And maybe without you realizing, there is more depth than you're even aware of right now.
Yeah. And especially when you're in that, dark night of the soul and the crying on the bathroom floor moments and, feeling so disempowered and afraid. And when things start to get really, really uncomfortable, we were speaking about this morning, weren't we? And Marielle actually touched on it as well in her talk, that that uncomfortable feeling is a clear direction that actually change is happening, because change doesn't happen in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So when you are feeling the pain and you are feeling that, you know, difficult things are coming in your, or happening in your life, know that that is the beginning of transformation. And very often it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's going to be like that forever, but just know that it's a season and it will pass.
Yeah.
And it will pass because you're going to be able to alchemize that into something incredible. The next step, the next part of growth. You know, we need to crack ourselves open in order to grow a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And it's worth it. It's all worth it. It's worth it going through it, because when it does really happen, when you crack yourself open, and it's almost like you release something, you find your new version of yourself. For me, that was kind of finding my true unapologetic self, and you know, using that word unapologetic to really define a new persona that became kind of the result of all of those things, the culmination of the challenges and, you know, the heartaches and all of those kind of things, and empowering yourself. What is your most empowered, resilient, outlandish, unapologetic, courageous version of yourself looks like? You know, maybe you need to create that vision. What does she need to look like? What kind of bold steps does she need to take in order to release herself from all those things that holds us back? You know, whether it's opinion of others, judgment, self-judgment, fear of, you know, all of those things, the fears that we carry within ourselves, or the wounds. Well, what do you need to do to move past that? And sometimes it is a conversation, sometimes seeing another woman who has done it before you, and maybe just taking a courageous step to finally fly. You know, kind of finding yourself at the edge of your comfort zone, at the edge of the cliff, and just saying, I'm going to leap. I'm going to take that leap. I'm ready to see what happens on the other side of fear when I finally just say, I'm ready. And that's your rebirth moment, when everything starts to make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. There's real power in stories, isn't there? You know, I love to hear your story, and you know, I have a very similar story of feeling very disempowered as a woman, you know, being brought up to be very subservient to men and not being allowed to have an opinion about things and not being able to challenge things. And it could be very easy actually to stay like that. And this is conversations that I have a lot. You know, it's sometimes it feels easier to stay in a place where you feel comfortable, even if it's not exactly what you want, instead of actually going through the change of the pain of change, but also really being able to take those leaps of faith, because that can be very, very scary. But one of the things that we really want to be able to showcase through all of the social media platforms, whether it's this showcase or the summit in March, or in the magazine, or in the books, or on the podcast, on social media, in our networking events, are the examples of these women. Every single one of these women has taken a leap of faith. And they all have different backgrounds and different circumstances. And some might have felt like bigger leaps at the time, maybe, than others. But they were stepping out of their comfort zone and deciding that they wanted to do something different with their life, that they wanted to make a change. So these events are wonderful because it gives you faith. It helps you to believe in yourself. I know that if I take those steps and I believe in myself, that I can really make a difference and I can make a change in my life, because I see it with women again and again and again. And this is just one of the platforms that you can come and you can witness that and experience it firsthand. So surround yourself with these women. Come, like, come and listen to the Women Thrive podcast, come to the watches on the stage in March, read the magazine, come on to the networking events. We have a networking event. We have a free networking event the first Thursday of each month. This is your opportunity to come and speak and be in community with these incredible women. I was speaking to quite a few women actually this week, Ramonda, that went onto the networking call last week, well, 2 weeks ago now, and they were just saying how wonderful it was and how inspirational, and they've made connections, and that's something that anyone can join. So come on, be involved, be inspired, start conversations, share your story, and who knows where that's going to lead.
Yeah. Oh my God, the networking calls. The networking calls are magical. We got a third co-host. She was
third. We've got a third co-host.
Like, Mama, what's going on? I need a mic too.
Yeah, the showcase, the networking calls are so great on there, because they really give the opportunity for everyone to be able to come on and feel a little bit of the Women Thrive magic, and to be able to connect in with our speakers. So it's all very well sort of watching everyone on the stage and being in the chat, but actually coming and living and breathing it in person is just a wonderful opportunity. So we love that you are in the chat, that you're showing us love, you're showing us appreciation. We've got a few more minutes until we invite our next speaker onto the stage, but I just wanted to highlight a few things to you. Already Ramonda has spoken about the Women Thrive magazine, and I did have the link to it, and I'm not sure if I have it anymore. So if anyone can help me out in the chat, putting the link to the Women Thrive magazine website. Oh my goodness, look, I'm such a multitasker. I'm doing it now. So this is, I'm going to put the in the chat now. Here we go. So you can go over to womenthrivemagazine.com that I am putting in the chat now, and you can go and read some of the amazing inspirational stories of the women that are in the magazine. So November edition, and as Ramonda said, next month in December, we are going to have our very own 50th edition of the magazine. So it's just wonderful, and you can go and read these wonderful inspirational stories. So Susan Walker, she's one of our speakers on our summit next year. I've noticed that 𝐔𝐲𝐿 is in here, so you've already seen 𝐔𝐲𝐿 speak. So a wonderful article there for 𝐔𝐲𝐿. I think I saw Emily in here as well, and Emily's going to be our speaker next. So you can go and read all of the inspirational stories in the magazine. Here she is. Here's Emily in the magazine. Emily's going to think that I'm calling her on stage now because I'm saying her name. We've got another 5 minutes, Emily. We're good. But we're just sharing your wonderful article. Ramonda, what, I know you talked about it earlier on, but what does it mean to see this in print and to really get the feedback of, so many women all around the world that are digesting this magazine, that really love it so much?
We're talking because our magazine now is in distribution in print across different establishments like luxury hotels and airport lounges and spas, some golf clubs, Gatwick Express in the UK. And I said, if we could... Oh, sorry, Bubba. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. If we could follow the journey of our magazines and see where they end up in the homes and maybe the offices and the women's hands and, the nightstands and the coffee tables, what stories they would tell about our readers. And that's what really makes me excited, where our stories and the stories of the women that contribute to our magazine where their stories are traveling and who they're inspiring, we may never know. Truthfully, we may never know. Just same with the book and the podcast. When we release it, we just get the stats. We just know the numbers. But what we really don't know is the stories of how we're creating this impact. And somewhere down the line, and I know this because people always reach out years later and say, you know, even today I had someone follow me, and I asked, I said, what made you follow me? And she said, I've been a big fan of Women Thrive. I've been following this, and I just wanted to connect with you as well. And I was like, that's amazing, right? And she's someone very inspirational, somebody who just released the book. She had thousands of followers, and we may never know how we're impacting a lot of lives globally. But I'm really, really proud and grateful for all the women who have contributed their stories and their energy to Women Thrive community and make it what it is today. Because I always say I didn't build this stage and this platform, community, and the magazine for myself. I built it for other women, for all of us together to rise. And that has always been the mission. That continues to be the mission. I know we talked about this morning. And I'm proud that we have been able to do that and stick to our word and what we stand for. And for others to see that vision and recognize what it is. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully leave a legacy for little ones like that, little women that's growing behind us.
A whole new generation of wonderful women. And you know, I always say that Women Thrive, yes, okay, Women Thrive is a business, but actually Women Thrive is a community. You know, Women Thrive are the women that you see on the stage now, the women that you'll see on the stage at the showcase, at the event in March, the summit in March. And we are very, very excited to be able to share some more amazing women coming up now. So I would love to know in the chat what your main takeaways were from our talks earlier, what you're saying yes to, what you're lit up, what you're passionate about, what legacy you're going to leave. Have you ever climbed a mulberry tree? I mean, all of these questions, right? That we're dying to know. Like, let us know in the chat. So we are about ready for our next speaker. I see that she is in the green room, and I think she's ready to come on stage. So I'm very excited to introduce you to our next speaker. Her name is Emily Jackson, and she is a sales professional, speaker, coach, author, and podcast guest. As an experienced conqueror over self-doubt, anxiety, and confusion, Emily helps women discover their path and their purpose in life through self-reflection, goal planning, and confidence building. Her switch up and step up talk and coaching program takes you through her story of feeling lost at different stages of her career path and how she discovered practical guides to find not only her dream industry, but also to find her true self. Emily, welcome to the stage. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you, Abigail. Great to see you as well.
Well, I am very much looking forward to your talk. I'm going to hand the stage over to you, and then I'll pop over at the back and ask you some questions.
Wonderful. Sounds good. All right. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Great to see you today, and thank you for joining. So this holiday season, as you can see in the background there, I'm ready for the holiday season. But what it has me doing is looking for what's next in the new year. Maybe you're doing that as well. Maybe you're thinking, oh, this is the year that maybe I'll change my career, or I'll look towards that dream role, start working towards that. But then self-doubt creeps in. You start thinking, oh, am I good enough for that? Am I capable for a career change? Am I ready? And I've been thinking a lot about self-doubt lately and how far that I've personally come in my self-confidence journey. And a specific story that I want to share with you today has to do with when I was just starting out in the tech industry. I've been in this industry now for about 6 years, but prior to that, I was actually in the fitness industry. So here I am diving into an industry that I had no clue about, but I was going for it. And I remember my first couple weeks on the job in this brand new industry, the colleague that was training me, I remarked to him that I didn't know if I was smart enough for this role. Looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I think that? But really, I think I was feeling overwhelmed. I was thinking about the big picture of all these things I needed to learn and understand, who I needed to become to really find success in this brand new career path. And now looking back, like I said, about 6 years later, finding success in the industry, loving what I'm doing, I realized that I actually followed 6 strategies that I maybe didn't know were strategies at the time, but I followed 6 strategies to overcome my self-doubt, and I want to share that with you today. So the first one is communicate, and it should go without saying, but introduce yourself to as many people as possible in those first 90 days of a new role. You want to get to know everybody, even if you don't think you're going to interact with them very much. You never know when you might have a question for them and they can help you out. And if you've introduced yourself, you're not a stranger. The next one, number 2, would be create your own 90-day goals. This is so important. Yes, you're going to get 90-day career goals or goals for your role within that corporate world, but what are your interpersonal goals for this new career path? What do you want to accomplish in the first 90 days? The number 3, the third one here, is learning mindset. So yes, you're going to be a sponge in a new role in your new career path, but you want to not be afraid to ask questions. Ask away, because think about the fact that everyone in this industry that is so knowledgeable, they were new to the industry at one point, right? They had to ask questions and figure it out as well. So don't be afraid to do so. Number 4 is create allies and mentors. This is the most important one in my book. If as soon as you get into a role, a new career path, or a new industry, get involved in your company culture, get involved in your industry culture, find like-minded groups, find women's groups, women's ERGs, really get ingrained in that. You're going to automatically build allies and mentors within the industry, within your organization, so that you'll have more people to bounce off ideas. If you have any issues or concerns, you can talk with them about that. That's really, really important. So do that as soon as you can in a new role. Number 5 is create your wins folder. This was some advice from a current coworker of mine, actually. But I've started to do this and had so much success with this when I have self-doubt. So anytime you have a win, say you had a great sales quarter, or maybe you led a project and you really rocked it. You create a wins folder, physical or virtual, and you look back on that anytime you think, oh, I'm not good enough for this role, or I'm never going to get that career advancement. Look back on that wins folder. You're going to realize that you're actually amazing, and you're going to be able to get over that self-doubt. The last one is give yourself grace. It's okay to fail. Think about all those successful women out there that you know. They've failed over and over again, but they've just gotten back up, and you can too. So whether you're in the corporate world or you're an entrepreneur, you can utilize these strategies to overcome self-doubt and find success as you start your new path in your dream career. And if you're someone looking for that next step in your career and overcoming your self-doubt, I encourage you to tune in to the Switch Up and Step Up talk during the Women Thrive Summit in March 2026, where I'll be sharing some more guidance on switching up your mindset and stepping up to your best self in your dream career. Thank you so much for your time today.
Emily, thank you. Thank you so much for those wonderful, well, more than tips. I don't want to call them tips, because it's great strategy, actually, for building relationships and being visible and standing out in such a beautifully natural way. I really love what you were talking about there about the wins folder, because I believe that when you can write down all of your achievements and recognize things that you've done, it can really make you feel so much better, give you more resilience, start to value yourself. I'd love for you to share a little bit about that, actually, because I think sometimes, if I think back in corporate, I didn't really used to celebrate my achievements. I'd be like, tick, project done, next one, tick, project done. tell me about what your understanding is about the importance of celebrating our wins and celebrating our achievements.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you, as I used to be like that too. And I have a terrible memory as well. So if I don't write things down and record my wins, I might forget all about them. So yeah, I find it really, really important to even just a small win. Like, hey, I had this great customer conversation today and I just felt amazing about it. It was the first time that, you know, I really felt like I succeeded at this presentation or whatever it may be. Just creating, I do a physical one, not a virtual one, because I love to write. But I really, any day where I'm like, ooh, that was a terrible customer conversation and I did not do well, I'll go back to that win and think, okay, that was just one scenario. Like, I learned from that, but here's when I did really well. So I know I can do really well. And I just think it's really nice that, you know, to have that solid piece of evidence, I guess you could say, of how successful you can be and that you are. So I think that's really important for definitely women to have.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you write it down physically.
Mm-hmm.
Write it down physically. And then even if you have it somewhere like on the fridge or the wall, or like not hidden away, just somewhere that you can read it. So every time that you feel less than, imposter syndrome, you know, all the things that can take us out of the game that you've spoken about, you can have that as a beautiful reminder and almost like a empowerment note to yourself to remind you how fabulous you are.
Exactly. And just another tip there is you can always use those wins from your folder on your resume as you update that. So that's another little tip. So
I love it when you tick all the different boxes. It's an empowerment tool and for your resume. Well, Emily, I know that you are definitely in the Christmas spirit, the holiday. Obviously, I know Thanksgiving as well. So you've got Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays. I see the snowmen behind you. So good. Such a good one.
Yeah. I made my husband get all the stuff out this week and put it all up. So
honestly, I'm like, oh, I don't normally start until the middle of December, but I think you might have inspired me a little bit to do a little something.
Hey, yeah, you know, like an eggnog latte or something, and really get
I am always up for an eggnog latte. Love them. Yep. Emily, thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom today. Can you remind us again where we can find you online, on your website, online?
Yeah, so I'm very active on LinkedIn. So just look up Emily Jackson on there. I also have a website called apluswomen.com, but you'll see that website on my LinkedIn. And you can also find me on Facebook.
Fantastic. Emily, thank you so much. Thank you for coming and sharing your beautiful wisdom with us today.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Have a great day.
And you take care. So that was the wonderful Emily Jackson, who is sharing. I love when Emily really shares some very practical, tangible takeaways, and we all need this, don't we? So I would again love to know in the chat what your takeaways are from our last sessions. We have got some wonderful, wonderful speakers coming up. In fact, well, I think we might have to switch our speakers around. I didn't really. Might have to put one of our new speakers on the spot here. Anne, are we good to bring you on if you come on earlier? She's like, yes. There we go. Right. Okay. So I would love to welcome our next speaker on to the stage. Her name is Anne Tabak. She is a certified Kingdom life coach, author, and creator of the Big Gulp Movement Framework, helping women step boldly into the pivotal, faith-stretched decisions that change everything. She equips women to rebuild their lives in the area of health, wealth, and relationships, guiding them from hesitation and overwhelm to clarity and confidence. Her books include Retrain Your Brain and Separated, Not Divorced. So Anne, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you see, this is what I love, because this is what we do as speakers. We have to think on our feet, right? And always be prepared to be called onto the stage. Always.
Yes. I'm glad I was early.
Wonderful. And I just love what you do. I love your energy. I'm really, really excited to hear your talk today. So please take it away, and I will be back afterwards to have a little chat with you.
Thanks. Hello. So I have a question for you. Have you ever had a big gulp moment? You know, that moment where it's like, you know, your life can't keep going this way. Something's got to change. Like, you have to step into this. Well, that happened to me a couple years ago. You see, my husband unexpectedly moved out in August of 22, and he didn't tell me. Like, I came home from a work retreat and he had moved his things out, to the point that he met me at the house, but he still didn't tell me. I had to go into the bedroom and see all of his things gone. And then I asked him, "Are you leaving me?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, I moved out." Okay, so this is where this starts. What a gut punch. Everything as a woman, you know, identify as a married woman, a mom, all the things was just removed, like gone. And so he had moved out, and now we're navigating separation. And of course, I didn't know what to do. Everything was yucky. Everything felt out of sync. And then 8 months later, we reached a point. And I approached him and I said, "Hey, if you look at me right now and say, F you, I don't love you anymore, I'm done, I will grant you a divorce and walk away." That was my big gulp moment. You see, I needed to finally surrender, to fully surrender the outcome of my marriage to God, because I was in survival mode, control, everything else. And I thought without a doubt that I was so awesome that I was going to keep our marriage together. But after that moment, whew, clarity. God opened my eyes to the reality of my relationship, the reality of the toxicity I was bringing by thinking I was keeping peace, and I wasn't. So I began a heart healing within me, and I began to see things clearly. And then I had my next big gulp moment. You see, we worked on our marriage. We went to counseling. We did all the things. We went through the muck of the forgiveness and all the stuff from dating. It'd been 20 plus years, and it'd been over a year. And so I'm thinking, yeah, okay, what's next? We move in, right? And he said, "No, I'm not ready." And I was going, "What? Excuse me?" And so I just sat with that, and I sat with God, like, what am I doing? You see, after that, I just really started to just open my eyes to things. And so I reached a point, and I said, once again, we got to meet. And we did. And I said, it's time to go our separate ways. That was my next big gulp moment, when I knew something had to change. I couldn't stay in this space anymore. I was no longer aligned with the person that God created me to be. I couldn't do it anymore. And from that, the clarity, oh my gosh, the clarity that I was craving was just waiting on the other side of these big gulp moments, those steps that I was so afraid to take. But when I did, the peace just was overwhelming. And that night, the night I told him I wanted a divorce, I went home, and I remember this vividly. I looked at my phone and I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter if he's going to contact me. I no longer had to sit and wonder, why doesn't my husband want to talk to me? Why doesn't he want to see me? It didn't matter anymore, because we were stepping in to divorce. And from that, something I never thought I would do, and I'm not like an advocate for divorce, but I'm an advocate for health. I'm an advocate for being true to who you are and who's God called you to be. And so we walked through it amicably. And from that, I have had the freedom and the peace and joy, y'all, I have never experienced before in my life. And I want that for you. I desire that for you. I desire for you to get that clarity on the other side of your big gulp moment. You see, your big gulp moment is not the end. It's the beginning of the life God has prepared for you. Thank you.
Welcome to the stage, Anne. What a great first talk.
Oh, no.
I love the way that you talk. You're such a natural speaker and so inspiring. Thank you for sharing your story, because your story demonstrates what Ramonda and I were speaking about earlier. Sometimes it feels like the biggest change, the scariest change, the most awful thing can happen, but actually what you need to do is take stock of the situation, take a breath, have the gulp, take a breath, and then be like, okay, well, you decided through that there was a gift, because the gift was, it's not working anymore. And I actually decided to choose freedom. And I'm so glad that you have not only created that for yourself in your life, but you now use that as a reason to create platforms to then be able to help others through that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. It's been, talk about like being this, God-fearing, loving Christian, people are like, oh, God hates divorce. And I'm like, well, God hates my marriage. So there's that. So, just getting rid of all that negative thought, all of that silly opinion and religiosity, and being like, no, this is not healthy. And God doesn't want anyone living that kind of life. He loves you way too much.
Yeah, that's it. It's about happiness, isn't it? It's about happiness and personal choices and freedom. And good. I'm glad that you are, you're rewriting the rule book. Sometimes these rule books need to be rewritten, and just to remove any of the shame that, maybe other people feel about it. I just good on you. And I love your story. Thank you so much for coming on and speaking today, Anne, and for jumping in so suddenly. It's very much appreciated. Whereabouts can we find you online?
I am at AnneEtters.com is my website. And you can find my books on there. You can find all of my stuff. I'm most active right now on Facebook. It's Anne Utterback, but also the tagline says Annie. So, it could be Annie Utterback.
Annie.
ANNIE. But on there it says Anne. So sorry if that's confusing, but everything is on my website. You can just tag on there.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and congratulations. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
So that was Anne Utterback. Please go and find her and connect with her. She's not Annie, she's Anne. Anne with an E. So, oh my goodness, I'm so inspired by our speakers today. We're having such a wonderful, wonderful event. We're going to move on very swiftly to our next speaker. I told you we had a full house. We are rocking and a rolling and moving and a grooving on to our next speaker. Now, this lady is just so wonderful. Her name is Marla Sachs. She is a Radiance Reset mentor and yogic lifestyle guide, painter, and author of The Radiant Woman Shines, whose creative process is deeply rooted in self-discovery, accessing calm contentment, and illumination through mini moment pauses and shine meditations. Her programs reflect a lifetime of internal visioning and emotional release work. Marla opens dimensional doorways that invite women to slow down, feel deeply awakened to unseen forces, and to reignite their spark through life's ebbs and flows. Welcome to the stage, Marla. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Putting on a little timer.
Okay, you set your timer.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to put the stage over to you and I'll come back afterwards.
Yes, wonderful. Hi, everyone. Great to be here on this incredible platform for women to thrive and to join in with this imaginative world of creating and elevating each other. So, are you a closet thinker? Just curious in this whole conversation of conscious connections and communications. My first writing coach said, not everyone overthinks. Well, what does this mean? I thought to myself. Men maybe less than women. I mean, what are people thinking about? Kind of behind closed doors. This is one of the many reasons why I have been inspired to reignite my spark every day and to just clear those vrittis. It's these swirling thoughts in the mind. So can we get those thoughts out of our head? What can we do to feel accomplished, throughout the day, to give ourselves those taps on the shoulders for the little things and the big things, to give ourselves like that self-love where you can kind of give yourself a little squeeze and just a reset. So I'm Marla Sachs, and I love guiding women to just remind them that we can take these pauses throughout our day. And I have found that the chaos, the commotion, the things that have been hitting me, like feeling like they're coming at me at times, that there are ways to just like deflect it so that we don't and I don't take the energy on. And according to Stanford University, about 60,000 thoughts per day. There's also something to like think of, to visualize, to kind of counterbalance that, which is the lotus petal through this yogic lens or very mindfulness lens, that it can actually be that. Are we having like 1,000 thoughts at the same time? Like, how many thoughts can actually be occurring? Or can we use this symbol of the lotus and get in touch with ourselves and calm down and like open up to the petals that are pretty amazing? Because also studies show that 80% of our thoughts go negative. And also our thoughts, like that repetitive thought, can you imagine what that would do to our body if we're thinking negative, decades and decades? For me, I know as a young girl that I never felt seen. I never thought that I could, make my way to front and center in a dance, lineup. And I just was always a little bit like two steps, like questioning myself, always wanting to be tall when I'm only 5'1", wanting to, have the curly hair when the perms or people had, flash dance was out. And so then like wanting the blonde hair, with like, and be Farrah Fawcett. So like all these people I identified with, and it was like, how can I shine and reinvent myself? So yoga and meditation has allowed me to just turn my life into a walking meditation. And I want to invite you into this world too, where you can slow down your thoughts, where you can have that lotus petal where it's coming from the bottom, where there's muck and there's mud, there's commotion, like all of the things, the phone calls this week that have been occurring in my life, where I'm, being tested again and again. How can I pick myself up when my sister keeps saying she wants to die? How am I supposed to live and help someone else when I know the world? And just last night I was with a friend, and it's the same thing where people are just in so much sadness. And all I know is the best thing that I can do and that we can do as women is to empower ourselves, to calm down our swirling thoughts so that we can rise above the muck and be an example and be someone who can shine through life's ups and downs. And so I invite you into that moment where our shadows, when we can go through that emotion from the commotion and rise together. And I'm offering a Radiance Collective where that crown of your head can be the symbol, and it can loop back round and round, where you begin to observe the rise and fall of your emotions and allow the breath to be a formula to sparkle and shine. Until next time, my name is Marla, and I look forward to connecting.
Marla, thank you so much. It's such a beautiful message that you share. Every time you speak, you really speak from your heart. And my heart goes out to you at the moment, because I know that, personal circumstances and situations. You mentioned that your sister, it must be so difficult. And just to be able to come on and for you to be able to really practice what you talk about, being able to raise our lotus petals above the muck and take that breath and self-regulate. And it was interesting because when you were speaking, I don't know if you can see, but I have a lotus on my wrist with a little diamond in the middle on my Kabbalah bracelet. And I've also got a tattoo as well of the lotus there. So when you were speaking, I really resonated with it, because it just brings it to life so much, doesn't it? That you have this beautiful, beautiful flower that's in the mud, and it's dark, and you wouldn't even think there was any life or any beauty down there, and then it kind of pushes itself up and it blossoms and it shines independently. Every single lotus on that pond has got its own beauty.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch the lotus thing. Also, I've been in a space where they brought one in, to a room, and there's a light on it, and it just like opens and it just changed. So just to like get up and close and personal and see what happens, and we're always changing, and that's just like amazing that the sunlight brings it out. And we have our dark and light sides, and also, that's the transformation we can bring.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Dana says the lotus is the symbol of narcissistic abuse because of the beauty that arises from the mud. Yeah, wonderful. Marla, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today, and sharing your wisdom and bringing that peace, and reminding every single one of us to take that breath, to take that pause, to take that moment. And that's why I wear the lotus around my wrist, because for me, it's a reminder not to be reactionary, because I've been very reactionary in the past. And just to be able to look at this and take a pause and really be able to find that inner peace. So it's just wonderful for you to come and share today, Marla.
It's been great to be here, and of course, learning from all of the great conversations and speakers, and how we can, ride that wave together and use our voices to empower others.
Absolutely, yes, we'll do it together. Marla, can you just remind us again where we can find you online?
Yes, at marlasachs.com. And I have a lot of offerings, also on most social media platforms. So you can find me on Instagram, and I like to share positivity, and then also to be real. Sometimes it's silly, but sometimes it's joy, and sometimes it's just that burst of emotion, showing nature and various things that we can use to reclaim our balance. So.
Well, sending you lots of love, and sending you your lotus flowers.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So that was a wonderful Marla Sachs. Deep breath. Sometimes we just need to take a breath, don't we? To relax and just let it all soak in, and just let these wonderful lessons soak in today. We continue with our speakers. We're not over yet. We still have another 2 amazing speakers. So our next speaker is the wonderful Julie Waz. She is a certified high performance coach, lawyer, international abstract artist, author, and speaker who empowers midlife women to transform uncertainty into opportunity. The creator of the Unstoppable Mornings Journal and author of the forthcoming book, The Midlife Reboot. She also hosts the YouTube channel Midlife Unleashed. Julie inspires women to see midlife not as a crisis, but as a launch pad to a vibrant, purpose-driven second act. Julie, it's wonderful to see you here.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Welcome to the stage. I love your colors. Oh my goodness, you look absolutely gorgeous today. And I know that you're going to share something wonderful with us. So please take the stage and I'll be on afterwards.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to this amazing community. I really, since you heard my introduction and you know that I focus on helping midlife women, let me tell you a little bit about my story and how I got to decide that this is what I wanted to focus on. And it actually happened when I was in high school, when I was a freshman in high school. My older sister went to college, and the day that my parents took my older sister to college and they returned, my mother went to bed for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, she stayed in the bed, didn't move except to get out to go to the bathroom and maybe to eat, complaining of vague symptoms. And there I was, this terrified 14-year-old, not knowing how to handle it, not knowing what to do, and thought my mother was dying. And this was in the 1970s when people just didn't talk about empty nest syndrome. Well, finally, after 6 weeks, she got out of bed and, she went to the doctor, and the doctor confirmed that there was nothing physically wrong with her. But then she sunk into a deep depression and actually stopped talking to me for a while. And I came home from school one day and I looked at her and I thought to myself, when I have children in the future, I will never, ever go to bed for 6 weeks. I'm going to make a decision at that point in time that my life is not over, but my life is actually beginning. And fast forward several decades, when my youngest son, I have 3 boys that are now 3 men, when my youngest went to college, and I looked at that bed and I said, I am not going to bed for 6 weeks. And I turned around and I didn't go to bed. I just started the next phase of my life. And I want to make it clear that I do understand that it's very sad when our kids leave, and I've certainly missed my sons. And, that's a part of your life that you just think, wow, it went by so fast. And you think, now what do I do with my life? Because now my calendar is empty. All the things that I was doing before, taking care of the kids, packing lunches, taking them to activities, doing all that, it's gone. And maybe you don't have kids, and maybe you still reach that midlife point in your life where you have a career and you start to wonder, is this all it is? Like, am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? And I'm here to say that, midlife is not the end. It's actually a beginning. And all the lies about you're too old to get started again, you're too old to do something new, they're just lies. And I'm certainly an example of that. And I live to be an example of that. And I became a professional artist when I was 60. And having had no art training, and now I've been in galleries in Europe, the UK, and the US. And I also decided it was time to help other women. And that's why I became a certified high performance coach, because I do want to help other women understand that midlife can be the best part of your life. It's a time for you to start figuring out, what do I really want to do with my life? I have half of it left. So it's time to make that decision. And so I did write a book that's going to be published very soon called The Midlife Reboot, where I actually have a framework that I created to get you started on that. So you start with reflecting on the past and thinking about what you did in the past, and then refocusing on all the things that you may have thought, okay, now I want to get started doing those things. And then the next phase is replicating the success that you've had. Remember, you've had an amazing many decades of wisdom, and it's time to replicate that. And there are more parts of the framework that you will see in the book. And I've also created a course to go with it. And I just want to encourage you not only to understand that midlife can be the best part of your life, but think about the legacy you're creating. Just remember, your children are watching. I was watching when my mother went to bed for 6 weeks, and it was devastating for me. And so I want my sons, and I don't have any daughters, but if I had daughters, I'd want them to understand that mom's okay. In fact, mom is living her best life now. And it's not because she doesn't miss them. I miss my kids terribly. However, I want them to understand that when they get to midlife, it's their opportunity also to reboot, to reinvent themselves, and to have the most incredible, best second half of their life. And I hope that if you're interested in getting help in that, please contact me. And my book's coming out soon. And I also have my Unstoppable Mornings Journal to start your day off really well. And thank you again for the opportunity to talk to you today.
Julie, thank you so much for your inspirational talk, and congratulations on the book. When is it out?
Hopefully in the next month or so. I'm just finishing up the last details, and but hopefully very soon.
That's wonderful. What an accomplishment. And it's not the first time that I've heard your story actually about what happened to you when you were 14. I mean, for that to happen to you when you were 14, when you needed, you need that that maternal care. You know, your body's going through so many changes, and it's so confusing, and to witness that, but then to be able to use that as a tool for transformation to drive what you're doing today is incredibly inspirational.
Thank you.
What would you say to, I know you've had lots of inspiring words there, but anyone that is watching this now who is in midlife and is thinking, oh, you know, what am I going to do? What is in front of me? What do I have to look forward to? What would you say to them?
I would say that you have to look forward to a lot, but I would also say don't create some big goal that you have an unreasonable expectation that you're going to finish tomorrow, like a, you know, New Year's resolution. Understand that it's little baby steps that you take along the way to create this new life for yourself. And I'm happy to help you along the way.
Wonderful. Thanks, Julie. So if we wanted to find, well, we do want to find you, not if we wanted to find you, we do want to find you. Can you remind us once again, where do you hang out? Your website, where do we find you online?
My website is juliewaas.com, and it's WAAS. I know it's strange spelling, but it's juliewaas.com. You can find me on Facebook. Just look for Julie Waas. Same thing on Instagram. And on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel called Midlife Unleashed with Julie Waas. And you can find my Unstoppable Mornings Journal on Amazon. And my Midlife Reboot book will be on Amazon as well when it's released. And I will be having a course that I will be I am in the midst of creating that will go along with the book.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's fantastic. And your journal then, is that something that we can sort of use is it morning journal?
It's a morning journal. It gives you an opportunity to write what you're grateful for, who you're grateful for, how you want to show up each day, affirmations, and there's a space to, you know, journal freehand as well. But it gives you an opportunity to remind yourself. I think it's really important to start the day with a routine and to remind yourself about the things that the people and the things that you're grateful for, and then set yourself up for the day with affirmations, and a decision is how you're going to show up each day.
It's such a wonderful way to start the morning. If you think about, in this world, there must be so many people that wake up every morning and don't have positive thoughts and aren't looking forward to the day. And, you know, we're all human. Sometimes I jump out of bed and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I just want to stay in bed, and it's dark outside and it's cold and I'm not looking forward to what I'm going to be doing. But when I can step into that space of gratitude, it really is. It's so simple, but it's so transformational, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I have those days too, believe me. And that's why I'm so grateful that I have the journal, and I sit down and open it up. It's like, okay, what am I grateful for and who am I grateful for? And it really does change your whole attitude.
Wonderful. Well, Julie, thank you so much for coming on to the showcase today. It's so wonderful to hear you speak. We're so grateful to have you in our community. You're so inspirational, and I really do love your dress.
Thank you. I like bright colors. And thank you for the opportunity. It's been wonderful.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Julie. So that was the wonderful Julie Waas, who I think is our last speaker. Oh my goodness, what a way to close out the showcase today. I wanted to say thank you to all of our wonderful speakers for joining us today. You know, it takes a lot of courage very often to come onto a stage and to share your story, especially if you're sharing it from a vulnerable place. And we are so grateful to be able to showcase these wonderful women to you, our audience. And also I want to say thank you so much for all of you for joining us. I'm closing this out on behalf of myself and Raimonda. Raimonda, as I'm sure that you know, is a very new mama, second time around, has a very, very young baby who she is nursing. And sometimes the baby has her needs. And so she's not going to be able to close out today, but she wanted to say thank you so much for coming and joining and supporting us on the showcase today. Please reach out to all of the speakers, let them know what you found inspirational, if you have any questions for them. And please come and join us on the next showcase event next month. So we always go live the third Thursday of each month. We have another showcase in December. We've got one in January, we've got one in February, and then we have the show, and then we actually have the summit. And also please make sure that you come and join our networking event. It always takes place the first Thursday of the month. So the next one is going to be on December 4th. If you jump onto our email list, we will send you an email reminder with the link so you can jump on and you can come and mix and mingle with some of our amazing speakers and authors. So whatever you're doing today, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful, wonderful day. We are so grateful to you, our wonderful community, our wonderful audience. Thank you so much for the team for supporting us on the live stream. And we will see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Lots of love. Bye.